The Marvel Phase 5 hype train has officially left the station because they just dropped a brand new trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and there is a lot to break down. So this was the trailer that Marvel really needed, and what it did is it proved that this is going to be the most important MCU film we've gotten so far in regards to the greater multiverse saga. This trailer starts off by leading into the emotional core of this story, which has always been the relationship between Scott and his daughter Cassie. Now post-Infinity War and Endgame, Scott is finally dealing with the fallout of not having been there for Cassie as she grew up without him. And I don't know if Marvel ever planned to do Kang before they made Endgame, because he is such a perfect villain of this movie, simply because the central plot of this film is the concept of time and not having enough of it, wanting more of it. If you look at Scott and Cassie, Scott wishes he had more time to see his daughter grow up and be there for her. If you look at Hope, Hank, and Janet, they wish they had more time together because Janet was trapped in the quantum realm for so many years, and Hope grew up without her mom. Hank continued to go through life without Janet. So both this entire Ant-Man family, they all want more time, and that's what Kang can give them. Now Kang comes in hot, entering this trailer wearing his iconic helmet from the comics, and this is genuinely one of the best MCU adaptations in terms of comic book accuracy look-wise to live action. Now this trailer established that Scott has a problem. He lost so much time with his daughter Cassie, and here comes the solution in Kang the Conqueror as he says the line, "I'm the one man who can give you exactly what you want. Time."
I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. Time.
And we quickly find out that Janet Van Dyne already knows Kang and experienced him during her time in the quantum realm. Now the way she's talking about him, she is so horrified talking about Kang. She says he can rewrite existence and shatter timelines. But even then, it looks like Scott doesn't care, as we hear him say in the trailer, "I don't care who this guy is, I just lost so much."
I don't care who this guy is, I just lost so much.
And that's when we get a pretty big shot that looks like Scott starting to work with Kang, and Cassie's there and there's some guards there. But the big reveal here is MODOK.
Mr. Electric.
MODOK is here, and he is being played by Corey Stoll, who played Yellow Jacket, who was the main villain of the first Ant-Man film. Before I watched this trailer, I thought that Marvel would have built up to revealing someone like MODOK, but no, they just threw him in here, no biggie, and the main focus is still very much on Kang, which was one of my biggest fears with this movie, is that Marvel is using Kang, who's the next Thanos, but realistically, maybe MODOK was gonna be the main villain. No, that is not the case. Marvel established with this trailer that Kang is the big bad of this movie, even though we're gonna still see MODOK. At another point in the trailer, we also see MODOK in an armor, and I think this is such a clever way to do MODOK, because MODOK is already a giant invulnerability with like his entire flesh face exposed. So it would make sense for someone as smart as MODOK, if he's going into battle, he's gonna protect himself. And that's where later on in the trailer we see MODOK in a super armored up suit, and he definitely looks like a threat right there. Now let's talk about how Scott is going to work for Kang, what he's gonna do for him, what's the overall objective, because I thought this trailer made it pretty obvious. So at the end of the day, the one thing that Scott truly wants is the time that he lost with his daughter, and Kang can give that to him, but one thing that Kang notoriously uses in the comics is his infamous time chair. Now, judging off of what we've seen, I think Scott is going to have to go to a part of the quantum realm that no one else can go to in order to retrieve something for Kang. There's one shot of Scott and Kang overlooking the side of a building, and it looks very dangerous. And then there's another shot of what looks like Scott diving into a part of the quantum realm that looks very dangerous. Now, one thing we've seen in both trailers is the scene of Kang proposing a deal to Scott. Now, if Kang truly didn't need Scott's help, Kang would not be helping Scott. So I think the overall journey for Scott is going to be going to the quantum realm to retrieve something for Kang. Maybe it's his time chair, maybe it's something for his time chair. And then once Kang has his time chair, he betrays Ant-Man, he betrays Scott, and that's where we see the trailer really start to heat up. In the trailer, Scott says, "We had a deal."
You may not want her to watch this.
We had a deal.
So it's very clear at this point that Scott has done everything that Kang has asked him to, and now Kang isn't gonna give Scott the time that he wants with his daughter, and he's probably not gonna send them home. At the end of the day, Kang is just here for himself, and Scott is gonna have to find that out the hard way. And that leads into the massive part of the trailer where we see Kang and Ant-Man going at it, tearing each other apart, and it's getting crazy. And as Scott is practically getting beaten to death, he says this line, which is the line of the trailer for me.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose.
I don't have to win. we just both have to lose. And let's be real, guys, we all know Kang is here to stay. The tagline for this movie is freaking witness the beginning of a new dynasty.
He said it! He said it!
So this is truly just the beginning. But while this movie is setting up the future, it's also closing out the Ant-Man trilogy. And of course we're gonna get to see more Kang, but when it comes to Scott, I think this would be such a heroic moment for Scott to make that sacrifice play. We all know we're gonna see more of Kang, but for Scott to sacrifice himself in order to interfere with Kang's plans and save his daughter and the people he loves most, it would be one of the most heroic deaths, if not the most heroic death in the entire MCU. And it's interesting because when it comes to this movie, our heroes can't necessarily win because again, Kang has a future, but Kang can lose. And if Scott is the reason that happens, I think that would be such a beautiful moment to not only close out the Ant-Man trilogy, but to close out Scott's story in such an impactful way. Scott already saw what Thanos did to the universe, and now he's presented with an enemy who's an even bigger threat. So I find it interesting that Scott is going to be that first line of defense for the inevitable, which is the Kang Dynasty. At one point in the trailer, we also got a shot of an entire army of Ant-Men. And I think this is the part of the Quantum Realm where Kang sent Scott in order to retrieve whatever Kang is after. Finally, this trailer concludes in a super badass way with Kang walking forward, fully suited up, and he's just enraged. And he lets out this scream, and he lets out his energy blasts, and it's just what this movie is. Kang is finally here. Let me know what you guys thought about this trailer in the comment section down below. I thought it revealed a lot about the plot and the overall story, but I'm excited to see how it all unfolds. Thank you guys for watching this video. Subscribe right now and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. I love you guys 3000, and I'll see you guys next time.